Hi guys, Brandon here, and welcome to another Fly Fishing 101 video with True Fly Supply. And what I want to talk about today are strike indicators and all the different ways that you can attach them and kind of what you're looking for when you go and see that wall of strike indicators at your local fly shop. So that way you can make the best decision as to what works for your fishing style. So kind of the first one that I want to talk about, and possibly the most common strike indicator that I see, is these thingamabobbers. And they come in two different versions. You got the one that just has the loop, and then you got the one that has like kind of this added post. And so how you attach those to your leader is you're going to go ahead and make a loop. This is kind of big, I'm over exaggerating here. You're going to make a little teeny tiny loop. You're going to fit it through the hole on this thing. And then once you get it through, you're going to pull that loop out, split it up, and pull your strike indicator through. Now when it's just sitting here like this, it's going to slide really easily. So what you're going to want to do is pull up on this top loop and kind of flip it over. So see how it's no longer on this side and it kind of closes itself down on itself? That kind of helps it not pull out as much, and it kind of flipped over. So luckily what they did is they kind of changed the design and added this little post. And so let me show you what that little post gets you nowadays. And again, like I said, these are like the most common strike indicators that you see on the water. There we go, I just got it through. I'm gonna pull that through again. Now you're gonna wanna navigate around that post so you're not cutting that post off. And then after you have it attached, you just simply take that post and you put it in the hole. Just kind of give it a good shove in there. And then that way it's locked into place. You're not going to get that indicator to move. As a matter of fact, I'm pulling it out of my hand before anything else. So those you can pick up. They usually come in like a bin up by the front register. So the next most common one that I see is these little yarn indicators. I've also heard them called New Zealand strike indicators, but yarn indicators fine. They attach the same way, so you got a bigger loop here, and you just feed your line through. Again, open up your loop and pull your strike indicator through. And so what makes these really unique is they tend to be a little more sensitive. They ride really high in the water, but they tend to be more sensitive in the fact that, you know, when a fish bites, it just kind of folds up on itself and you can see a more subtle strike. And when you pick up to do your false cast, all the water comes off of it. But if you are having issues with this floating in the water, just take a little bit of your floating that you put on your dry flies, pop the lid, add a few drops, and kind of work it in the fibers with your fingers. If you want to get it to float even higher, take a little bit of your dry shake after you've added your floating, pop it in here, shake it up a few times, and you're good to go. So then kind of the last two that I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about this one before I get to my favorite. So these ones you might want to keep in like an emergency fly fishing kit or just something else. These are probably my least favorite, and they're kind of, so what they are is they're like a little buoy, if you will, that sits on this like rubber peg, and if you pull on the rubber peg, it gets skinnier, and that allows this to move. But once you let go, you know, that post is kind of stuck in there. So then what you're gonna want to do is there's like a little slit in there. You're gonna line up your leader right in that little slit, and I always get it started by pulling the leader back to one side of it. And I'll do that again for the second one. And then to kind of get it all to seat in there, you just pull on the rubber post and your leader will fall in behind on the float there. So the thing that I don't like about these is I tend to get a little excited with my casting, and so I tend to throw these quite a bit, and you know, your strike indicator's not doing you any good if it's hanging out in the trees behind you. So I don't know, not exactly my favorite, but they are pretty cost effective, so I'll let you be the judge of that one. And then lastly is the airlocks. And what I like about the airlocks is they've got a little screw with a nut on top that has like a little slit. So what you do is you take your leader, you run it through that little slit, and there's a little rubber gasket that sits in between, so that way you're not damaging your leader. And you just go ahead and screw on that rubber gasket, and you can really screw these down. And I mean, that's not going anywhere. That is stuck on there. It's not gonna fly off like this guy. It's not gonna, be subject to the same water issues that your yarn is gonna be subject to. It's definitely not gonna slide around like these guys do. Like, yeah. So, I mean, these are my favorite. However, they are the most expensive in the kit. Now, one of the things, and the top reason that we use these indicators in fly fishing is that all of these are adjustable. So you want to be able to, when you're moving holes, be able to adjust where your flies are floating in the water column. And so, with this one, it's as simple as just pulling on that rubber to kind of adjust where it sits. With the yarn guy, you kind of just pull on the yarn. And with the new advanced thingamabobbers, you pull out the post and then adjust it and then simply reinsert the post. Now with the airlock system, again, like I said, is my favorite. Simply unscrew a little bit. See, I didn't even unscrew it enough. Unscrew it a little bit. Just go ahead and pull it down the line. Go ahead and reattach it. Really hard to lose these guys, but like I said, again, they're the most expensive out of all these. I think they run for like $3, like $2 to $3 for per indicator. So, and another thing I want to just kind of quickly glance over here is the different sizes. So you got the little teeny tiny thingamabobber, and I got the middle one, and you got a large one, and then you got an extra large one. Basically, what you want to do is you want to match your float to the flies that you have below it. You want it to be just buoyant enough to where your flies aren't pulling it underwater, but you don't want it to be so buoyant that you're missing strikes. If like a fish hits it and it doesn't even react to it, then what's the point of having your strike indicator? So anyways, thanks for stopping by. That was another Fly Fishing 101 series, and be sure to check out more on our YouTube channel or by subscribing to our newsletter. Thank you.